Happy Friday! It is another week and a lot going on this week. Unfortunately, a lot of really kind of heavy stuff happening this week, but some light stuff too. So we're thrilled to be here to bring you the latest on what's going on in the world as far as weather and climate. This is Weekly Weather Brief. I am meteorologist Emily Gracey.
Hey there, and I'm meteorologist Kerrin Jeromin. Thanks for joining us again for another episode of this show where we kind of catch you up on what we found interesting in the weather and climate space this week. And Emily, like you said, there was a lot this week. Like, my emotions are tugged so many different directions in the things that captured my eye. So we're going to try to sum that up in about 10 minutes or less today.
Lots to go over. A little bit of a roller coaster ride. Let's start with something light. Did you see the partial lunar eclipse last night?
I did. We'll start
You
there.
did?
Yes. Yep. I actually stayed awake in bed and I was like peeking out my window periodically to check out the moon. It was very cool. Yeah, it kind of left that orangish hue on the moon and a little chunk out of it.
What time was it?
I think I was looking at like midnight-ish, 11:30, midnight.
Ugh,
Eastern.
girl, I was asleep. I was about to feel bad for missing it, but I do not. My sleep is worth way more than that.
Well, it wasn't a total lunar eclipse. It was just partial, just 96%. So
They're kind of cool to look at, but they're not. People are not traveling far and wide and chasing them like they are the solar eclipses.
But it is cool. You know, it's the opposite. We just had the solar eclipse in the news recently for the one in Europe. And then this one, it's the opposite, right? It's the Earth's shadow on the moon. So it leaves that orangish hue. So it's kind of a cool thing to just witness and make sure you know what it is. Because if you didn't know what was happening, you'd be like, what the heck is that?
It's always fun, too, it makes you think about like the motion of the planets and the solar system and what's going on out there. So makes you think more big, which is cool. So yeah, that was fun. We also have a tropical storm out there, which interestingly enough is named Tropical Storm Dolly, with, big name this week, but coincidental because this is not something that was named after Dolly Parton. And I think it's funny that the National Hurricane Center had to go out and say that. Like, this is a list that was in place for years. It just happened to happen this week, which is so Dolly.
Yes. But no, yeah, right. The World Meteorological Organization puts out these name lists years in advance, and they rotate every 6 years. So it is an extraordinary coincidence that this week we get Tropical Storm Dolly formed in the Atlantic. And unfortunately, this one does look to impact land, by the way. It's going through the Atlantic, but will be likely at least a tropical depression or higher by the time it reaches the Leeward Islands this weekend. So something that land interests do have to watch there for heavy rain and, tropical storm-ish winds.
Yes, ish is the key there because, we're not talking about a major destructive natural disaster here. So, but something noteworthy and something that could cause some issues there on those Leeward Islands, especially for anybody maybe going on vacation. A lot of vacation spots there. So something to watch. A lot more active, though, in the Pacific. There's, as it has been all season, Kerrin is out there and could become a major hurricane. Lol. So
I can't even keep up with them.
I know. And then a couple of areas of development. So keeping an eye on that Pacific basin as well this weekend.
Yes. Well, we can't avoid the most intense event of the week, right? That happened internationally. We have to go over to Nepal and Tibet, China, and talk about what occurred there, which is hard to even. I mean, I don't even want to try to fit that into 10 minutes, let alone a couple minutes of this 10-minute show. But we have to acknowledge it was just really an unimaginable disaster in my mind that occurred this week. Again, in Nepal and Tibet, China, right along the border there, a glacier collapsed and it sent this landslide, an immense amount of water down the mountain, in through the rivers and through these small towns that just were completely demolished because of this collapse. And it's just unthinkable.
The videos, they don't even look real. They look like natural disaster videos from like a movie. And that's exactly what it is. We're talking about a disaster, kind of a new kind. We were talking about this before we started recording, and we haven't seen disasters like this. And, they're still kind of piecing together the causes. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about climate change and what could happen in the future.
This is it for me. It just really raises the bar for what's possible with these disasters. And it really just was this series of events that you just can't even fathom could occur, to me anyway, even though it does happen. Like, glacial collapses happen, but the number of people impacted, the level of impact, it's just remarkable. And I don't really have a lot of words to say because it's just that. It's challenging my mind.
I think it's important to feel that weight and then kind of think about our actions and root causes and, what we can do on a personal level when something feels so big and so global like this disaster. So
yeah, and you just, your heart just aches for it because there's not a whole lot that can be done at this point. I mean, the level of destruction is just unreal. There are a lot of fake videos out there. We will say that there are some AI videos, but a lot of what we're seeing is real, and it just doesn't look real. It's crazy to see. And these glaciers, by the way, came off the Himalayas, which are some of, in our minds, the mightiest and toughest on Earth, like over 17,000 feet of elevation. And you'd mentioned climate scientists are attributing potentially warming that's happening in those glaciers and causing them melt and collapse. That's a problem, right? That we may continue to see in other areas of the world.
I mean, same mountain range that Mount Everest is. And I have interviewed scientists that are looking at the Khumbu Glacier, which is on Mount Everest, and how it's changing and how it's going to be hugely impactful, not just to tourism and people hiking Mount Everest, but the people that live there. Right. Those are the people that are really impacted by this. So our hearts go out to them. The numbers are continuing to be updated. We're recording this on Friday morning, and it's a very fluid situation with the numbers, but still over 1,000 missing to be expected, and hundreds have perished, and that number climbing as well. So our hearts go out to Nepal, the folks there. It's one of many disasters kind of happening this week that I think are connected to climate change. We talk a lot about wildfires as well, and Texas wildfires popping up there. Yep. So back domestically in the U.S., the Ross Fire started on Monday and really exploded to 85,000 acres at this point. And fortunately, no injuries have been reported, but it's a good example of just how much weather can impact something exploding like this, because they've had such dry conditions, drought conditions, and then also hot.
Very hot.
And then throw in a little wind, and it's a recipe for disaster there. So they, right now, as of this morning, as of Friday morning, 21% contained. And I want to point out, too, that containment doesn't mean they've put out 21% of the fire. It means that 21% of the area around it they have contained. They've created a border around 21% of it so that it cannot grow.
Interesting.
So yeah. But fortunately, I think the weather conditions are going to improve a little bit as far as those dry conditions over the weekend. So hopefully a little more moisture in the atmosphere to keep that from spreading.
Yeah. Okay. Good updates there. And part of the persistent heat that's kind of expanded from Texas all the way to the Southwest. I saw that there are extreme heat warnings still in place all the way to California. Those areas in the Southwest also dealing with temperatures between 110 and 115. So it's just, I think people are ready for summer to give it a rest.
Meantime, just like a soaker on the East Coast. We've gotten a lot of rain here and just very, very moist, very humid. I don't know if you're watching us on video, maybe you can see my outside there. Like my windows are just all humid. Very humid. Well, you need a break. We're ready for fall.
Need a break. Okay, speaking of a break, Emily, I think we need a break from the heavy.
We need a break from the heavy stuff.
Yes. I saw this video that went viral from a meteorologist up in Maine, WABI TV, and this meteorologist had a laughing fit on the air, and it really cracked me up. So I wanted to make sure everyone saw this and got a little laugh to finish the week. Meteorologist Patrick Osborne, by the way, he went to the same college I did, actually.
Oh,
yeah. I know. I didn't realize that at first, but Patrick, hey, buddy. Oh, Vermont State University, by the way, in Vermont is the college. And he had a laughing fit on the air, and it strikes your funny bone. It's one of those things where you can't help but laugh as you're watching him try to get through the forecast and just try to say anything, and he's just like losing it. It's hilarious.
It's infectious. Like his laugh is just infectious. And if you need a pick-me-up to go into the weekend, watch this video. We'll link it in our show notes, but he's so delightful. And then he kind of tells the story of like what happened here. But we've all been in this situation, if you've ever worked in TV, where you get like that little tickle of laughing, and sometimes it's really at an inappropriate time. But yeah, it's hard to contain it once you start, it's like an itch you just keep going back.
I love it. I love a good laughing fit. It is infectious.
I do
in the
too.
best way.
I do too.
Yeah.
I know, like I love to watch like bloopers from Saturday Night Live or like TV shows. They're so fun. They'll improve your day just watching other people laugh.
You have to. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. Like, I feel like there's so much heavy in the world. If you can find some way to laugh, just leave it with some laughter. It's good for your soul. So make sure you're getting out and laughing a little bit. We'll put the link to that in our show notes, and really just as a shout out as well for show notes, because we actually put a lot of links for all of the episodes that we do, and there's some really good stuff in there. So please check them out.
Yes. And thank you to Patrick for making us laugh this week. We needed it. So
yes.
Kerrin, have a great weekend, and let's hope for some better news next week.
Let's. And please be kind to one another. There's a lot heavy in the world, so we appreciate you being here with us. Leave us a note. Let us know what you think of the show, and we'll see you again back here next week for another weekly weather brief. Bye, Emily.
Bye, Kerrin.